If you haven't seen me for a hot minute, it's probably because for the past 2 months, I've literally been building models, and that's about it. G'day everyone, my name is Zach, and welcome back to Printed. This week, it has been a hot minute since I last saw everyone, and as you can see, I'm running a slightly different angle. To cut a long story short, I've spent the past couple of months sort of building models, working into my backlog, and just trying to set up this year for videos, and not gonna lie, it has been a lot of work, but I think I'm in a place where I'm ready to release this video and just kind of do a little bit of a talking heads as to where I've been and what's happening with the channel leading into this year. Now, the first little bit of footage that I'm going to be showing you is actually Roboute Guilliman, and I spent roughly about, I think it was nearly 4 weeks, and it was actually 2 weeks from the end of last year and then 2 weeks into this current year, into January, that I spent painting him, and I had an absolute blast. Now, I'm sort of going to run you through the process that I did with him, as well as just kind of talk as to what's happening with the channel and things moving forwards. Now, I had an absolute blast painting Roboute, and it was actually kind of a fun challenge because I have never really pushed myself to paint a character to like a super high standard, and I've never really painted one of the main characters for one of my armies, so I was actually kind of excited to really test myself on this. Now, to sort of get the armor done very nice and quick, I did use my airbrush, and you don't have to use this. You could actually achieve a very similar effect with like a Zenithal Prime and a little bit of the Talisar Blue over the top, but I just use an airbrush because it's quick and I wanted to get him done. I kind of shaded the deep recesses with like a deep dark blue, and then I just kind of went over the highlights with that Talisar Blue to really punch them and just make his armor stand out. Now, during this time, I actually spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to do with the channel, and moving into the new year, I want to try and focus on a few more projects and be less formal with everything, because a bigger thing that was actually holding me back last year was the fact that I spent a lot of time trying to record videos and trying to set up the camera and everything. And that's why if you actually see this footage right here, I'm very happy with how this is looking, and I'll probably do this moving forward because it's much easier for me to actually kind of do things and make videos and get content out for you guys. Now, it was an absolute blast painting his armor, and I had to move on to his head next, and for this I mostly just whipped around and just kind of played around with a few different colors. Now, when I was painting this guy, I actually did have a reference pickup from Games Workshop because I sort of wanted to recreate the box art for him. He is one of those models that is kind of iconic, and I figured that I may as well try my best to recreate it because he's going to lead my Ultramarines army, and I may as well make him look the part. So I spent quite a lot of time kind of futzing around, as you can see here, highlighting different areas, and the camera does zoom in and out, and I've kind of got to get used to using this new setup, but for the most part, I am very happy with how things are working out. And I do actually have 4 videos that I am either have recorded, currently recording, or about to finish recording. So you should be able to expect some very consistent content coming up in the near future. As I say, I had an absolute blast. I mostly focused a lot on the highlights towards the upper here. And even if you're watching this video, you can kind of use it as a slight reference of what I did for the face. So I kept his actual, funny enough, his right-hand side a little bit brighter. And then I had his left-hand side in a little bit more of a dark thing, and then put a lot of the spot highlights up on his head. And as you can see, like my face is kind of evenly lit here, but I had it more so that basically from the nose point over, he had more of a half shadow, and then kind of like directly as a diagonal with a lot more shadow in the corner here. So if you guys want to look at real life references, I definitely recommend using YouTube videos, even photo references, or even old art guides as a way of painting these things. You'd be surprised how many skills kind of transfer over and, you know, help you in this hobby. And I kind of futzed around with his, I can't remember what it is. It's his little green crown looking thing. I had a little bit of fun with it, and I didn't want to spend too much time on this. Like, it is a very small detail on the head. At the end of the day, I just want to get it done. Now, I will admit that I had an absolute disaster trying to build this model. I hate sub-assemblies. Sub-assemblies are one of the things that I absolutely despise, because every time I'm assembling a model, for whatever reason, I cannot get it to stick properly. I tried super glue, which ended up running all the way down the back, and if you watch the 360 previews that are coming up, you can definitely tell that I sort of messed it up. But for the most part, I'm really happy with how the model turned out after gluing everything together. I didn't actually record painting his Iron Halo, which is fine. It was an absolute pain in the butt. I mostly painted it gold and then just went in with like some white paint and a little bit of blue, just to sort of give those areas that needed to be blue a little bit more interest. And now we're going to do a bit of a grand reveal for him as we move on to my next project. Now, I was really happy with how Roboute turned out. This is probably one of the first times that I've really challenged myself on a model. And honest to God, it took me nearly 4 weeks to do. It was a long time, a lot of fighting. I spent a long time on the armor, both sort of highlighting it up and then also darkening it down to create a little bit more contrast. And at the end of the day, I'm very happy with how he turned out. I even managed to mold his original base into this new one, and just kind of push it a little bit. And as you can see, I have kind of mixed around a couple of colors and just slapped him on the base. He's also standing on a Space Marine, a Chaos Space Marine, I should say, that is painted up in a very similar style to the way that I do the rest of my army. And I do have a Chaos Lord in the backlog, which if you haven't seen my Pile of Shame video, it's my last one, and go check it out. I'll leave a link up in the card here if you would like to go and check it out and just see what projects are going to be coming up. I have a bunch of old world stuff planned. I've got a bunch of 3D printing stuff because I don't want to be buying models anymore. That's a completely different story for another video. But yes, as you can tell, I'm very happy with this. So let's jump on to our next army project. Now, moving into the new year, I wanted to start everything right. And I actually ended up getting a bunch of Ogre Kingdoms models, which you would have seen in the Pile of Shame video for my birthday. Now, this is more or less my new year, new army kind of thing. Since I did get a bunch of models for both my birthday and a little more for Christmas, like this isn't added to the Pile of Shame. It is in my Pile of Potential, but my roommate did gift me some Gretchen, which I'm super, super excited about. I freaking love Gretchen. And I do actually want to start a Gretchen army, which I do have a playlist for. I just haven't really done anything with it as of late. So I spent a long time building models. And for those who don't know, I absolutely hate building models. It is the one thing that just terrifies me. And it's not necessarily the fact that I don't like customizing them and kit bashing and everything. That is a completely different thing. And the Ogre Kingdoms armies are fantastic for kit bashing. I just hate when it comes down to the nut removal and the mold line removal. There's probably models that I still have. I have a whole bag of Gretchen here. Or not Gretchen, what do they call them? The little guy, Noblars is what they call them. I have a whole bag of them there, and the kit's only meant to be 18 models, but there's way more than 18 models, and you know for a fact I'm going to be building every single Noblar, making them look super, super pretty. But when it comes to doing the mold lines and everything, it is just an absolute chore, and I really don't enjoy it. So that's why, for the past 2 months, I have literally been building models non-stop. I wanted to get the worst part of the hobby out of the way for my year, and then just hit the ball running. I've got a bunch of Tyranid projects coming up, I've got old world projects, and I know I'm talking a lot about new projects coming up, but you guys will see them in the very near future because some of them are actually already pre-recorded. Now, after building the Stonehorn, I kind of wanted to challenge myself, and my partner Z was like, hey, do you reckon you could build a entire combat patrol in 1 hour? And I was like, fuck it. May as well give it a shot. So for the next clip, I'm going to be live narrating over exactly what I did and what I tried to achieve with it. So let's see if I can get this done in an hour. Now, when it came to doing it, I was actually very conscientious of how I did things. I first started by, I figured I'd get the main character done. I thought that he was kind of going to be nice and easy and a little bit of a time sink, but not too bad. Now, you will notice that in this, I did leave a lot of pockmarks and everything. I wanted to get the models assembled, but not fully processed, if that makes sense. Like, if I could just get the full 18 models from the box done and dusted, I would have been happy as Larry. So I started off really strong, and as you can see, it's roughly about 12 minutes in, and I am struggling to get this tyrant done. But fortunately enough, I ended up moving straight into the Mournfangs, which are technically 4 models, and I do believe that on the box count, it does count them as 4 models as well. So I did my best to try and slay through these, but my gosh, there are so many parts to these kits, which in itself is a wonderful thing because it allows you to customize them a lot, but I really struggled to get through these, and as you can see, the time is ticking down. I think by the end of this, I hit roughly about the 30-minute mark and then managed to finish the Mournfangs. And honestly, the part that I sort of didn't like the most is the fact that waiting for that glue to both set and get tacky. Now, I could have used super glue on this, but I didn't want to sort of mess them up, so I sort of dug my heels in and thought I may as well just build right. And fortunately enough, it took me way longer. As you can see, we're hitting nearly the 40-minute mark, and these Mournfangs aren't quite done yet. So I'm just powering through, hoping that I can get them done. And I do believe that in the last 15 minutes of this, I actually started getting some of the lead belches ready to go and the iron guts. So I more or less went through, systematically clipped out all the bodies and things, and then started doing shoes and that kind of stuff. There was a ton of pockmarks and mold lines, but I figured that I could always clear these out at the end as long as I could get the models done. But unfortunately, as you can see, the timer is ticking up slowly but surely, and there's a lot of models left in this. Now, unfortunately, I didn't actually manage to finish building all of these guys in an hour, but it was a massive effort, and I think I got roughly about 70% of the models done. As you can see here, this is the aftermath. I really tried my best on this, but unfortunately, didn't manage to get them done. Now, I do believe that at the end of it, I actually spent another hour building the rest of the models and cleaning them up, and it actually, so all up, if I had have just sat down for 2 hours, I would have got this entire combat patrol done. Sorry, I would have got this entire Spearhead done, which is, I think, a pretty impressive thing in itself. And I definitely am keen to challenge myself to do something like this again. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. That is all the time that I have for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I know this isn't a massive, super hobby compacted video, but moving forward in the future, I do want to do sort of like a miscast Trent style thing where I just kind of record my process through the week and then we narrate it or kind of have live commentary as we go. So if you guys do indeed enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and leave a comment on what you want to see me do next. Whether or not it's a video from the pile of shame, or if there's a specific thing that you want to see with the kits as well. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I would love to hear your thoughts on what content you want to see in the future, and definitely make sure to let me know. So until next time, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, hopefully next week.